What is the best and most efficient, effective way to strength train when you don't have a ton of time, but you are now committed to doing it? What's the best way to do it? How often a week should we be strength training to like get the most for the least? Like, biggest bang for our buck, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, at the absolute minimum, I'd say 3-4 days a week of strength training. I aim to do at least 5 days a week of strength training, and then I'll have my 1 or 2 days to just do that are fun, whether it's like a full body workout circuit that, or run or other things that you might find enjoyable. Like you said, cardio or running, like include that. That's like the joy, finding the joy in that movement.
No one finds joy. I don't find joy in it. Do you? I hate it, but it's like punishment for me. But
afterwards.
I know. It's it's afterwards. I always think of things of like how I feel after, not how I feel before.
Exactly.
You guys, I'm excited. I'm really excited about today's episode, podcast, because of what I do. I have someone who I've been following forever, and probably all of you guys follow her as well. Her name, I would hope you do because she's so great. But how do you pronounce your name? I don't want to get it wrong.
Senada.
Okay, good.
Senada Greca.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. Senada Greca is on the podcast. She is just like an entrepreneur, a fitness just phenom, in my opinion. She puts out the best workouts. And you know what else you do really amazing? Your food, like the food that you do. Like all your recipes, like to make things that are less calories, healthier. That's actually how I even started to follow you. It wasn't even the fitness stuff. Isn't that funny?
It is funny. And a lot of people actually approach me and they're like, I love your recipes. And I'm like, really? That's like a newer development. I didn't start that way. But I guess, a lot of people just love the recipes.
Amazing. It's not that new because I've been like watching
it's not.
this
I'm just saying as far as like where it started, it was all fitness based. And then the recipes slowly started to creep in and they blow up for most of the time.
Because they're easy.
They are.
And they're healthy. And they're a great alternative to things that are like fattening for you.
Yeah.
But your fitness stuff, okay, so this is, how many followers do you even have now? Like 6, 7 million?
6.1 million. Just crossed that 6.1 million.
Oh my God. That's crazy. And let's start from the beginning because now, you trained Kim Kardashian, you've trained a bunch of celebrities, whatever, but you already were very well known even before Kim Kardashian and all that. How did you even, because you came from like the business world, like you were in finance and all that. How did you even like start in the fitness business? Like what was the transition and why did you make fitness your business? And then how did you kind of become such a like phenom on social media?
Well, thank you for considering me a phenom. Fitness movement has always kind of been a part of my life. It's always helped me through, and I'm sure, maybe you've seen it out there and I've been open about it, but it has helped me through me overcoming depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. So it's always been close to my heart. I've been an active child and I found joy in movement. The business aspect of it was more, okay, we need to make money and make a living and promoted by family. Okay, these are the things that you need to do, either be a doctor, a business person, or a lawyer.
Right.
And, I chose the business route. I was great at numbers and chose that path, got my undergraduate in 3 years, got my master's degree in 1 year while working full time. So it was successful, but just wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled in that role. So I decided one day to put out there all of my workouts, the things that had helped me for so long, become a stronger, more confident version of myself, and it helped me overcome so many things. Like I said, depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. And I saw that there was such a need out there for true, useful workouts for my content. And I didn't do like, here's 3 exercises, and I didn't hold back. Every day I posted my exact workouts, which started to accumulate a following pretty fast, I would say. And I was able to then, going from just putting all of my workouts, this free content that somebody could just follow and not need to purchase anything, to then launching a more streamlined program that somebody could do to achieve the results that they wanted, along with meal plan and nutrition planning. And I was able to let go of my 9-to-5 job, which at the time had gone from finance to diagnostic sales. I got into pharmaceutical sales and diagnostic sales because, again, there was a part of me that always wanted to be close to that, to the health aspect of somebody. My dad was a doctor back in Albania, so
he
that
was.
that always was close to my heart, and I thought that being in that world would somehow get me close to helping patients, but it really wasn't very impactful. And then this was my way of impacting people in health and wellness by stepping into the role that I serve today.
Because you've been doing it, and by the way, we've been holding on to these things.
I know. We didn't even
do it
this.
yet. Okay, so I was so excited to have you. Seriously, like this has never happened because I've had everyone on the show, and like because of what, like I said, I just love that you're here. We forgot this. Okay, so we do these shots because we want people to be focused and alert while they're on the show. So we do these like very healthy shots by Magic Mind. Now they just came out with a new version. I think I gave it to you.
Yeah.
It's the free, and that one is no caffeine. So you don't want caffeine.
I don't really do caffeine.
Ever?
Besides cacao or like matcha, I don't really do coffee.
Okay, good. Well, then it works for you.
Perfect. Or
okay.
caffeine in that sense. I guess cacao has some caffeine, but it's in the morning.
That's nothing.
It affects my sleep.
No.
But yeah, no, these all look really good.
No, it's great. This is. You've never had one?
No, I've never had one.
All right, so this is what we do.
I keep my supplements at minimum, if at all. But
Okay, well then this will be a good one for you.
Whenever you need it, yeah.
So wait, we do a little
Smells
cheers.
Really good.
I'm telling you, it's really good. I would never be forcing my guests to do something that I don't love, because I
wouldn't take anything.
It's really tasty.
If I looked at the ingredients, was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that just because.
No, exactly.
It's good.
So everyone, well, not everyone, but almost everyone says that they are like much more focused, and it's not like a jittery one. It's just It's literally just like a steady energy. And so anyway, so we do these things just for fun. And so you let me know now afterwards if you feel anything. Because I actually haven't done the free one. That just came today, like an hour before you got here. So I want to know if it actually does anything.
All right. Well,
because I always do
or maybe you'll notice. You'll be like, okay, she's making more sense now.
I know, right. She sounds brilliant now. No. Okay, so I was going to say to you, it was really, social media is like the Wild West, and there's so many people on there. And the fact that you have like really stood out, why do you think that people have gravitated and there's been such traction with your page other than other pages? Do you think that you were involved or doing it before, like for so many years prior? Like, when did you actually start the whole process?
Yeah.
And is it just because you were just so consistent, like that you think? Like, what is your?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you said consistent. Like, the consistency, I think, has been one of the key ingredients. I have since 2019 probably not taken more than one day off from posting on social media or filming for posting for social media. It's just been that consistency and always providing value, not just throwing out content just to fill a page, but providing. It's always been kind of like the questions that I ask myself, like, is it going to add value? Is it going to be useful to somebody? Is it maybe perhaps entertain to some degree? What is the purpose behind it? And I think that's what's made it take off, so to speak. And from the very beginning of 2019, I just provided as much content as I could for my own workouts every single day, 7 days a week.
That's crazy. So, but that's not even that long. So you haven't been doing it for that long, 6 years?
As far as like having a presence on social media, on Instagram, because that's my biggest platform. It's since 2019. I've always been active before that. But in 2019, I decided that I need to share my gift, if you will, with the world.
That's insane. So like in 6 years, you went from like 0 to 6 million people.
From like 2000, from posting just like personal things, a picture here and there, randomly, to now, okay, I'm going to be committed to doing this every day, no matter what, whether I was away on a sales meeting that started at 8 a.m. and we had been up till midnight
Wow.
or 2 o'clock in the morning, and still having to get up at 4:35 in the morning to film, having no sort of following to speak of, kind of like being a little embarrassed in the hotel gym while there's coworkers around looking at me filming myself. Like, what are you doing? But I just kind of like,
Just did it.
as shy as a person as I've been, I kind of was able to shut that down and just commit to myself, that this, and to the audience that started to accumulate, that this what I was going to do no matter what.
Is it mostly women who follow you, or is it like, what's your demo? Because
There is a small percentage of men, but it is mostly women. Yeah.
like, I'm curious, is it mostly, what's the age bracket who follow you?
From the biggest age bracket is from like 25 to 45. And there is a little bit under, a little bit over.
Right.
Like the biggest age bracket.
Because I would think like, because I'm in my 40s, like you're such an inspiration for women, like, because people are like, how do I look like that?
Right. And it is slightly like that higher.
Skew. Yeah, of course, because
yeah.
Well, not of course, but like, because you give great. Your exercises are always different. You don't do the same thing. You don't always use equipment. You give. It's very versatile. So, which is what I like about you.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
While the page took off, is because I provided novelty. Because working out for a lot of people, as humans, we need novelty. Like, that's one of our
totally.
basic needs, is novelty. And sure, there's people that can do the same thing day in and day out, and there's nothing wrong with that, with doing squats, RDLs, like the basics. But if you start to introduce novelty, then it just becomes a lot more fun, besides it being effective. Because I'm not taking and throwing you for a loop and just doing one day, squats, and another day, I don't know, jumping jacks is like squats, but what other forms of equipment can you utilize to make that same movement just a little bit more interesting?
Well, because I want to know what your exact daily routine is, of course. And also you're like strength, which is why I love it. Like, you promote the idea of like being strong. And I think that message is great for women. But women are really scared of weight still. It's crazy. Like, people who know, but there's still a lot of women are cardio junkies, and it's really hard to kind of get away from the cardio. It's a psychological thing.
It is. I mean, it's been ingrained in us for so long.
Yeah.
So it is something that, I don't blame most women for doing cardio, because it's almost like that generational teaching that's been passed down, and what you see, maybe what they've seen for so long portrayed out there, aerobics and then you correlate strength training to perhaps bodybuilding only images, and that's not, that's not true. That's not, you're, as I always say, like, you're not going to get to that bulkiness level of a pro bodybuilder, because first of all, I mentioned this before, like, there's so much work that goes into it, and perhaps when you're at like this extreme level of competitive bodybuilding, there's other things that are being utilized, and most women are not going to get to the bulkiness level that they picture, and then there's genetics. I am thankful to have been gifted good genetics, I think.
I'm glad that you said that, because people never say that.
No,
and it's
for sure.
true.
But genetics without the work is nothing. You could take, somebody with the same genetics, but if they don't put the work, that's not going to yield anything. But you're right. For so long, we've been just shoved kind of down our throats, like cardio, and then we fear not just the bulk, but maybe we fear injury from working out. And once you start to learn like the benefits of strength training, and you start to learn proper form, not only does it get almost like addictive, like the feeling that you get in your body, like you tell me, but also, then you start to promote all these other positive aspects, like gaining more confidence. And then, if you think down the road, like the quality longevity aspect, because it's not like we only want to live longer, we want to live longer better.
Better, right.
Yeah.
It's also super, I think the issue is the funny thing is, I think you get more injuries with cardio than you do with strength training, which is the irony. Like I'm one of these people where I know intellectually, right? Like how important weights are, but I don't get the same endorphin or the same high from when I run. However, running breaks down your lean muscle. It does. It like you get like your body composition is, I think, much, much different than when you just purely focus on strength training. You actually don't look as good when you're a cardio junkie. And so how would you tell people, or especially women, when they are cardio junkies, how can they psychologically transition themselves into strength training to get all those benefits? Because it's one thing to know, it's another thing to actually be able to execute because of what it's been so ingrained in us for so long.
Yeah, I think it just takes trying it out. Just takes almost leaving aside all the notions that you've been told, that you've been taught about what strength training feels like or is like versus cardio. So now you're going with a preformed conception into it. I would say I understand like what running does to you. I used to run marathons and I used to, get those endorphins, but I also know how much it broke down my body, and it broke down the fat, even in my face. Like my face got really thin, and and my knees were hurting at the time. And, I now lift for years and I don't have any of those pains that I used to get from.
You probably look better.
Yeah, I feel better.
Yeah.
And so there's no like, I can talk all day about how important strength training is to longevity, to your hormones, and how actually a lot of cardio affects those things negatively. We can talk about strength training and like Alzheimer's and how beneficial it is, especially for women, because 2 out of 3 people with Alzheimer's are women. So, I feel like there's this disconnect still and non-acceptance, because again, that psychology has been so ingrained. So all I say is just give it a try and go in with almost a clean slate, and perhaps even try to talk yourself into like, yes, I might still get those endorphins, because I do get endorphins from strength training. It's because I don't have that notion, that preformed concept in my head that strength training is not going to give me those endorphins. Almost like go in with the beginner's mindset, with a blank slate, and see what that does for you. And I also, when I do strength train, I'm not taking super long breaks in between. Not that that's not beneficial. You can do that. I incorporate a lot of supersets, so my body is always moving, and kind of also, besides strength training, getting into that cardio zone as well. So keeping that level consistent, and it does get me into that hyped up mode, if you will.
Yeah. So just could you tell my audience, kind of like expand on that? Like, what is the best and most efficient, effective way to strength train when you don't have a ton of time, but you are now committed to, to doing it? What's the best way to do it? How often a week should we be strength training to like get the most for the least? Biggest bang for our buck, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, at the absolute minimum, I'd say 3-4 days a week of strength training. I aim to do at least 5 days a week of strength training, and then I'll have my 1 or 2 days to just do things that are fun, whether it's like a full body workout circuit or run, or other things that you might find enjoyable. Like you said, cardio or running, like include that. That's like the the joy, finding the joy in that movement.
No one finds joy. I don't find joy in it. Do you? I hate it, but it's like punishment for me.
But afterwards,
I know it's exactly it's afterwards. I always think of things of like how I feel after, not how I feel before.
Exactly, because in the moment, if you are thinking about just the reward in the moment, more likely to make decisions that are not going to support your long-term goals versus thinking afterwards. Like eating a burger right now, I eat burgers, just
yeah. Do you eat meat? I hope you eat meat. Yes. Okay. I see you.
But like, let's say, your goal is to lean out and build muscle. Oh, burgers are a bad idea because I eat burgers. But like, I eat burgers. A pint of ice cream. All right, a pint of ice cream in one sitting is not necessarily going to support your goals of like losing weight, building muscle. Right in the moment, that's going to feel, oh, this tastes so good. Afterwards, you're going to feel like crap.
100%.
Yeah, and working out is the opposite. Is like in the moment you're probably not going to feel like doing it, but afterward you're going to feel amazing. So kind of always evaluate and like what's the what do I gain from it now, but what do I gain from it long term, or what do I lose in the moment versus what do I gain long term. And just to go back to your question as to like what, for me personally, what my week looks like, I do 2 minimum, but 3 lower body days. I do a lot of supersets, again, to keep it efficient. That is doing 2 exercises back to back. So squats and an RDL. I'll finish a set of squats, go straight into a set of RDLs, back into a set of squats, to another set of RDLs for 3 to 4 sets. And I'll do that with multiple exercises throughout my leg extension with a leg curl, again, back and forth, just to not pause for too long, just not to take too long of rest between each set. Because when you're working out opposing muscle groups, then you don't necessarily need to rest for as long. When you're doing squats, you're mostly working quads and glutes, and then when you're doing RDLs, you're working to a lesser degree glutes on the squats, but then when you're doing RDLs, you're working out more hamstrings and glutes, so you don't need to take as long.
Yes, I love
so that was like the long answer.
No, it's not. I've actually, I think this is great. Yeah. So basically you're saying that to be the most effective, to get the biggest bang for your buck, you should do strength training minimum 3 or 4 times a week, right? Mm-hmm. You recommend supersetting it, which is basically 2 exercises back to back for 3 or 4 sets. Mm-hmm. Do you progressively load, or what is the next thing? Do you have to go super heavy?
I do progressively load to where my 11th or 12th, or let's say last 2 reps are my hardest reps, and maybe I can go for 1 or 2 more reps after that, but no more after that. So close to failure, not necessarily all the way to failure. And I don't necessarily go insanely heavy to where I'm doing perhaps 4 reps or 6 reps. I value more that mind-muscle connection, like truly focusing on the muscles that I'm working, slowing down the movement. A lot of the times people see like me touching and feeling like the muscles that are working. And that's, again, to create that mind-muscle connection, but to also tell your brain, like, these are the areas that we're working, because now that's where the neurotransmitters are going to fire up. That's what's going to fire up and get activated, which then will improve results.
What do you think about if someone is working out 4 times a week versus 5 or 6?
Yeah.
I've been with my research, they've said that it says that, if you work out twice a week versus 3 times a week, there's a massive difference in terms of like the results. 3 to 4 times, not that big of a return. But then after 5, it's kind of, you don't really see much difference, right? Like, do you believe in that? Like, do you think if you work out 6 times a week, you'll see much better results than if you do 4 times? Or is it so nominal? Not really.
Not necessarily, but I always say, and this is not an answer that everybody's going to love. It's like, we're so bio-individual. We're so different from one another. Like how the energy reserves that I have that I need to expend might be different than yours, and I need to stay active perhaps more than you or somebody else. And then that is something that you need to gauge for yourself. So if you feel like 5-6 days a week are leading you to burnout, then do not do that. But I do think, and studies show that 3 and 4 are like where you minimally should be strength training. 3 and 4, 3 is like absolute minimum. 4, great, and then 5 and 6, those are how you feel. I personally need that 5th day. 6th day is, like I said, my play day. But in those 5 days, just to finish what I was saying, like 3 days lower body, and then 2 days I'll do upper body and core. So I'll combine upper body exercises with core exercises.
And then I heard you also sprint, though, on those days.
I do sprint on those days, too, at least once or twice a week, but ideally twice a week, just 20, 30 second, all out sprints. And by sprints, I don't mean just like running, but I'm rowing, assault bike, battle ropes, anything to get to almost that 100% effort. All out effort for 20 to 30 seconds, 5 rounds.
5 rounds.
5 rounds, yeah.
Do you do that in between the upper body and core? Do you take it like a circuit, or you do it at the end?
I do it at the end.
At the end.
I'll do typically on my upper body. I'm giving you all my secrets.
Yeah,
Which
good.
are on my app anyway, so they're on the We Rise app. But I'll do an upper body and a core, again, supersetting like I mentioned before. So let's say I'll do pull-ups with like a hollow body. I'll superset that. I'll do rows with a dead bug, let's say. So for every upper body exercise, I'll have a core exercise to superset it with. And at the end, I'll do the sprints.
And I'll go have some water. And then, because I'm going to make you talk a lot. Okay, so at how long do you think the minimum amount of time is that we should be doing each workout? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, truthfully. Like, don't give me, 5 minutes. Well, because we all know 5 minutes is not going to do the trick. I mean, if you only have 5 minutes.
Have you listened to me say that before, the 5 minutes? It's a place to start.
Yeah.
5 minutes is just to create that habit. I'm joking. Yeah, 5 minutes is not going to get you the results that you're after. But if what you're after is creating a habit, then it will get you that. How long? Again, it depends on the person. Like if you're starting to feel like at 45 minutes or an hour mark, you're like completely depleted, then maybe again back off and go for a shorter period of time. But I think at minimum like 45 minutes to an hour. My workouts last from anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. An hour and a half usually on lower body days, just because they're tends to be a little bit slower than an upper body workout.
Totally. And you don't do abs on the days that you do your lower body, correct?
No, I don't do abs.
Just on the other days.
You're in my book, and again, some studies show that you don't want to tire out your core muscles. Your core is what's supporting you. So if you are going to do core, do it at the end of a lower body day. Just don't combine it throughout. So don't superset lower with and again, this is just my stance.
No, I love that. I didn't ever heard that before. Tell me more about that.
Because weakening your core before you do a lower body workout, then you have less of a connection. If your core gets weak, you have less of a connection with it when you're doing lower body. So let's say and then how that core is supporting you throughout these strong lower body movements can be compromised.
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying, I want to make sure I'm taking this all in. So if the days that you do lower body, you should not be doing your core because you don't want to tire out your muscles that keep you stable to do the lower body.
You could do it at the end. Yeah. Just don't do it either before or as a superset, because again, you're compromising your core for your lower body workout. Yeah.
And I always see you exercising or doing your weights or your stuff in bare feet. Mm-hmm. Is that on purpose? Is there a reason behind it?
Yeah, I just feel better connected, better stable, and podiatrists actually call shoes the coffins of our feet,
Totally.
as morbid as that is, but it is, because it is killing that sensory feedback that your feet are sending to the brain. You
Yeah.
know, all our feet have so many nerve endings that are sending input to our brain, and we're deafening that by wearing shoes, especially shoes that are not appropriate, that are like thick soled. And so I prefer to work out either barefoot or with just socks on.
So much better. You know, I've just been like, I wear these like shoes that are like for stability.
Yeah.
And it's 100% true. Like every like expert who I speak to says to me, like, don't be working like those. It's the worst thing you could do for your body, because you're not, all the strength comes from your feet. And if you are with these shoes, their gait is off.
Exactly.
Right. And
Exactly.
it doesn't really work the proper muscles. It works like other muscles, and but it's interesting because I find, maybe you can tell me if this happens. Is it hard on your feet when you don't have stability? Like, do you get like plantar fasciitis easier or anything? Because it's like so much pressure now. Like you're.
Well, if you, I would never suggest, and again, this is just what I do. I'm not a podiatrist or anything like
You're
that.
not? You just play one on TV. No, I was kidding.
But I think the first, and don't go all straight, you know, from wearing this thick soles to like working out barefoot and maxing out your lifts. You know, always start slow. I did that when I first went from running with shoes to running with like barefoot or like minimalist shoes. I did at one point.
Oh, wow.
But I went, you know, instead of like building up to it, I ran quite a long distance, and I suffer the consequences. But so always, you know, like every other muscle, there's muscles in your feet that need to get adjusted to working out barefoot. But that's what we're aiming for, is to build strength in those muscles that are also in your feet. Like your feet are like the least paid attention to muscles,
Totally.
and they should be just as strong as the rest of your body. And that's why I work out barefoot also. It's not just that neurofeedback, but also strengthening the muscles in your feet.
I think I went to this wellness place recently, and they had this like foot specialist, not a podiatrist, but some other type of like head, like brain, foot person. And he was giving me all these exercises with the ball to strengthen strengthen my foot so I can do all this because of what we just said. So now I'm trying to work out when I do my weights with like bare feet. And it's such a different sensation.
Yeah.
Like how your body is like just the whole, how you're standing, your posture, everything.
100%. It's almost like, you know, like a euphoric feeling too, because I think there's something to say about like our connection. Like with a lot of things that we do, we've been removed from like our connection, like our primitive ways. Like our primitive selves didn't have, you know, our ancestors didn't have these shoes to walk around with. They were barefoot, and they had that connection with the ground, with nature. And I think it's almost going back to some of those old ways.
I agree. Do you tell your clients to work out that way, or do they work out barefoot with you?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the day and how you know, people are feeling. But like, you know, Kim has trained plenty of times with barefoot. Yeah, it's definitely something new for.
I'm sure everyone asks you the same question, but like, how did she find you? How did you start training her?
Yeah.
I know it's like I'm sure everyone's like, what was that process like? Where were you living? Like, you weren't living in Los Angeles, right?
I was not. I was in Miami, and she had found me on Instagram through one of my viral posts. She had seen it pop up in her feed a couple of times and saw it as a sign, like, okay, I need to tap her on the shoulder and bring her over. And yeah, we went through the due diligence because, you know, at first I was like, this got to be some sort of a scam. Like,
really? You thought it was a scam?
I thought so. I mean, I've had a few celebrities and one queen of a country that wanted to train, and I'm like, this has to be some sort of a scam, and it wasn't. So it was pretty amazing to have kind of like your work be sort of like validated.
Totally.
In a way, because there is plenty of amazing trainers out there, and for me to be selected it was an honor.
So did you move here just for Kim Kardashian then?
Yeah. I mean, still went back and forth and have still, kind of roots in Miami. But I moved here to train with her. And
Wow. What was the schedule? Like every day you were training with her, 3 times a week?
pretty much every day, 5-6 days a week at one point. Yeah.
Wow.
And traveling with Kim and training on her, if she was going to film somewhere or if she was going on vacation.
So you were like full time?
Full time. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
How many hours a day were you guys working out?
There was a couple of hours a day at some point. We were training, starting, with warm-ups and taking things a little bit slower so that we could truly get into, like I said, like the mind-muscle connection and then proper movement, moving properly and not without injury.
So was it all strength training with her for 2 hours?
Strength training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the same style that I just mentioned. I train and the same style of workouts that I have on the We Rise app.
When did that happen? When did it start?
That was 2.5 years ago. So January of 2023.
Right. But you already had a big name. That was like, it wasn't like she kind of like started to post about you and then all of a sudden, you were doing amazing, great things. Like everyone I know, like all my friends like follow you. I mean, and we all, send each other, like, have you seen this? Because I think the big thing is you're known for your abs too. Like it's those abs, there's no way, this is why I'm happy you said something earlier in the podcast about genetics, because I work out like a fiend and I can work out for 24 hours a day, eat everything proper, and I will never have abs like that. And I will never have muscles like that. It's just not my body type.
Yeah. There is something to be said about different body types. But I honestly haven't always had the abs that I have now. I used to do a ton of cardio. I used to run marathons and I used to, I eat decently, and I never had my 6 or 10 pack.
12 pack?
Some people
it's a 12 pack. It's not even a 6 pack, okay? Like it's insane.
I think it's the years of putting in work with strength training and kind of actually prioritizing protein, which I didn't used to do back when I was like a cardio fiend. So prioritizing protein, really trying to meet that goal, but also, like being consistent with strength training and training in the way that I just described, that I train. And again, it's hard to say because I can't duplicate another Senada and like see what, she would look like if she did things differently. And like I said, genetics can play a factor in it, but it's not the end all be all.
No, it's not the end all be all. Like you said, but you have to have a baseline where, like, there's some people who just have a body type that it's easier to see results faster, to lose body fat faster. It's just, I think that's just the reality.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have to kind of like modify, like like everything that you say, I'm like this, I'm nodding my head because I agree. It's also like, for some people, they do need to work out 5 or 6 times. Like other people, they can do twice a week and they can get the results better.
Sure.
Not twice, like 3 times a week. Yeah. So nothing is like a one-stop shop. Like,
no, nothing. There's no one answer for everybody. It's just, again, you have to, and there's a beauty in it to create that connection with yourself and understanding with yourself that this is what works for you. And when you get close to that intelligence that is your own person, it's just that much more fulfilling because now you come from a place of this is what works for me. Sure, like the expert advice is great as like a starting point, as a baseline, but then the individual aspect of it is something that each of us needs to work.
Like even like what time to work out. Like for me, I think mornings are great because you get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But there's no specific, some people should be working out at night because they can't have more energy at night. Like, I don't think there's like, even with any of these things, it's like it's trial and error, a lot of it, right?
For a beginner, I would suggest, like, if it's possible for you to work out first thing in the morning, because again, when you're creating that habit, you don't want to leave it up to chance. Like that is it's the habit aspect of it. Like that's huge. Like what can you sustain it? I always say like every day, can you perhaps put it in your schedule, make it perhaps the same time every day so that you can create that habit. But it is true. Like some people feel more energetic in the morning and some more in the afternoon. Perhaps again, some people can work out in the evening. I would not necessarily suggest that because now you're increasing your cortisol levels that need some time to be brought down so that you can not go from 100 to 0 now when you need to go to sleep.
Yeah. I also think personally, the reason why I prefer the morning, number one, like, because I've had this conversation, people are like, well, some people are much better at working out, they have more energy at night. Like what your point is, I think when you work out in the morning, it sets you off like for the day to be like much more productive, and your head is like on straight. Like you're more productive, you have more energy, you're like more focused, you're much more alert. Like to me, like all the benefits you get from exercise are actually like the best benefits is not the physicality of it. That's a byproduct. Like you look like, right? Like,
absolutely.
And I think that there's a lot of people who are not getting that message, right? Like you'll look good if you just do the work eventually, but that should not be the reason why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. It starts your day off in a completely different manner.
Yeah.
That confidence is already up. You've already checked off a win for the day. It does set that day off to a great start. So I would agree with you.
And like also energy begets energy.
Sure.
Right. So like when people say, oh, I'm too tired, I can't do it, I don't have time. Well, if you actually figured out a way to incorporate it, you would get more energy and you would find more time because it turns on like these neurotransmitters that will change your brain chemistry.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So like what are some of the biggest excuses that you hear, and how do people override them? Like how do you help people override the excuses? Like I don't feel motivated, or I don't have time, like we just said.
I think those are the biggest things that come up. Like it's not being motivated, not having time, and not being able to stay consistent. I think consistency is probably like the biggest thing to seeing the results that you're after, or just to feeling better, and because it is more important to put in those 20, 30 minutes, even though we just discussed that perhaps that's not enough, but to do that every single day versus to sporadically do a workout here and there once a week or twice a month. It's not going to get you the results. And then the motivation aspect, I think so many people get hung up on, I need to feel a certain way to then take action, while I think of the opposite, take action and the motivation almost comes afterwards. That feeling that you're after comes afterwards. You have to almost at times blindly take the steps. You perhaps don't want to brush your teeth in the morning, but you brush your teeth in the morning because...
Exactly. I feel like it's a non-negotiable. Like there's some things in life there's non-negotiables. Brushing your teeth is one of them. To me, working out should be one of them.
It is, but it depends on what you want from it. You know what I mean? If you can, and you don't have to work out. Nobody has to work out. Like this is going to sound controversial, but you don't have to work out. You don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to absolutely do anything. You don't have to eat right, but can you be 100% okay with that? Can you stop having that discussion with yourself? Like, I wish I could do this. I wish I could work out. I wish I could look a certain way, or I wish I could be healthier. I wish I didn't have to go see this doctor or that doctor, or down the road when you do have to see those doctors. Like, can you 100% be okay with that? Most of us can't. We're still going to have that argument with ourselves. Like, I wish I could eat healthier. I wish I could work out. And that's when it comes to making choices. That's what it comes down to. Like, what are the choices that you'd rather make? Is it being okay with just not doing anything, which is totally fine?
I do this talk sometimes where I talk about how there's a huge correlation between exercise and like being physically fit and success in life. Because I think there's like a massive correlation. I think fitness and like exercise teaches you like fundamental life skills, right? Like discipline, resilience,
Yeah.
being patient, right? Like being patient, delayed gratification, like all of these things that
Putting
like
in the work when you don't want to. When
right.
I absolutely don't want to. Showing up.
Showing up,
Yeah.
showing up day in, day out. And that's the patience piece. Like, you know, like maybe you won't see the results in day 10 or 20, but if you keep on showing up, you will. And I think these are like fundamental life skills that play in every other area of your life. It's just getting somebody to a place where they stick to it long enough that they can actually see that. Right. And people give up before they even like put in the proper time to get that shift.
Yeah, I think because also there's that the delayed gratification for a lot of us nowadays is becoming even more of a problem just
Totally.
because of the instant gratification that we get from social media and just everything, you know, ChatGPT, everything.
Exactly.
You know, without having to put the research behind it. So we almost have to fight a little bit of that uphill battle, but we almost owe it to ourselves and to the generations to come to put in that work so that we lead by example, that this is what accumulates success in
everything.
In everything.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think that you can't, I really can't point to somebody who like is physically fit, like who works out diligently every single day and they have that discipline and that doesn't show up and correlate in their success in other areas of their life. Like I haven't yet met somebody like you look, you know, like, and I'm not, that's what I'm saying, like sporadically doing it doesn't like move the needle. And how you do one thing in life is how you do everything in life.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So that to me is like, that's what I notice right away that's like when someone is like takes care of themselves, that's what I notice right away. Like that means that you're going to be probably someone who is going to follow through and that's okay with delayed gratification, has discipline in their life, blah, blah, blah. How important then is the nutrition aspect? Like we talked about the protein is so important.
Yeah.
Tell me what you eat every day besides the protein. I want to know like actually what you eat and like, so I want to know like what do you think it is? Is it like 90-10 or what do you think the ratio is?
Of support decisions that support my
nutrition. Like you can work out all day, and if you eat like crap all the time, you're not gonna see results.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've heard some research say that it is almost more important, like the workout aspect, than necessarily like the nutrition aspect. Like you could have somebody that perhaps is overweight or obese, but if they're putting in the work, if they're strength training, if they're working out consistently, they're healthier than somebody that is thin. That is, again,
totally.
you can, discuss the nutrition behind that because it doesn't, but, they go hand in hand. Obviously, they go hand in hand, and again, it's individualistic too when it comes to nutrition as well. I think it is important, and the studies are undeniable as to like how important protein is, especially for women. It is,
especially as you get older. When you're 20, it doesn't matter. You can eat anything.
Exactly. Like the absorption of protein as we get older diminishes. So it's even that much more important to increase the protein intake so that we can make up from that malabsorption of amino acids of that protein.
I never thought in a million years when I was a little girl, like when I was 25, that I would be like I would be so overly concerned and thinking and talking about protein as much as I do in my 40s. It's crazy. That's all me and my friends talk about, how much protein we're having. What are we having for protein? There's only so much chicken that you can eat or steak you can eat. Like, tell me what you eat. I want to know exactly.
I will. I mean, honestly, like I don't like to obsess over anything. So if it's taking over your life.
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous.
If it's taking over your life, then it's like, okay, maybe take a step back.
Well, we can't help it because all you see is protein, right?
Of course. It is important. But again, like I said,
you can over protein. Can you eat too much protein?
Honestly, like the guidelines keep increasing.
I know, so true. I know.
I don't know. Like obviously, people that have kidney issues or there's their underlying issues should monitor that. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm disclose that, but the studies on protein are undeniable. Again, the individual aspect comes in as to how your body processes things, and you're going to be able to tell straight away if something is not sitting well or if it's not reacting well. Or so just listen for those signals in your body. You're your own best expert.
Yes.
All right. What do I eat?
Yeah. I want to know what time you wake up. I want to know like your whole daily routine. It's called Habits and Hustle for a reason.
Yeah. I don't get up super early. My wake up is like 6:30.
That's
because
early.
I value sleep, and I'm not the best sleeper. I'm perhaps genetically predisposed to not having the best sleep. So whatever sleep I can get, I am appreciative of it. So I will not do the ridiculous, 3 a.m. I'm just joking.
By the way, that's so stupid.
I'm like, come on.
Can I tell you something?
What time are you going to sleep? Yeah.
But that to me is so absurd. I cannot stand when people like say that. I'm sorry, but like it's not humanly, it's not normal to be like, yeah, I wake up at 3. What are you trying to prove? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, who wakes up at 3 or 4 in the morning? Unless like you have a night, you have a night shift. Like, unless you have to, like, you're not winning any prizes by doing that. Like, it's just stupid in my opinion.
You're just winning views on social media. You're just,
it's also not even like, it's so dumb.
Yeah. Well, like, we'll just do this. Skip over.
Well, the fact that you're like, oh, I don't wake up that early at 6:30. To me, that's like very early. That's like a normal early.
Yeah.
I have to wake up at that time because of my kids. Yeah. But like to me, I begrudgingly do it. I don't want to wake up at 6:30 or 6:15. I find that very early. Like these like,
I go to bed at 9:30, so it's like 9:30. I don't know what time you go to bed, but I try to go to bed at like 9:30. Again, I value that, like that first few hours of sleep that are
so
deep
important.
Sleep are so important. I wake up, my mornings are slow. I don't try to rush and increase that cortisol right off the bat. So I'll do a bit of meditation and breath work, which have been super helpful in actually helping me alongside with strength training, diminish anxiety, because I tend to still, have remnants of that. And it helps with stabilizes my mood, again, along with strength training. Well,
how long do you meditate for?
All right. So when I got back from Bali last year, I was meditating for an hour every day, but because of different requirements of life and having to do all of these things, sometimes that's not realistic. I'll still do it. I'll just won't be like the first thing in the morning. So if I have time, I'll do it later in the day. It'll be 30 minutes to an hour, especially on days that I need it. It's incredible.
Wow.
Once you establish that habit, it's your body craves it. It craves just kind of going inward and finding that inner peace.
Yeah.
But in the morning, it would be 10, 15 minutes of like meditation and breath work, just kind of like reset, get ready for the day, take a walk with my dog, do about 30 grams of protein, which in the morning will be either a smoothie or most of the time a yogurt with like some nuts and walnuts typically, and blueberries, getting those good
antioxidants. What kind of yogurt do you like?
I get full fat Greek yogurt.
Okay, full fat. You do?
I do, yeah. I try not to, because again, when you're going, sure, look at like your whole day and what that, where you're getting fats from. And if you can afford it, I'd say try to go for that, because the more that you go for like the skim and whatnot, that's being processed a little more. So you're eliminating some of the processing steps by going with like a full fat. And I can, my body's okay with dairy. So,
it's also more satiating. Like you don't feel
so much more.
It keeps you fuller longer. Yeah, it does. And I
Yeah.
think that's like a misconception. People think they're going for like the low calorie, but then usually they take the fat out and put sugar in that. And then it's even worse for you.
Yes, or some sort of a fake sugar that is just not what I enjoy. So it's, again, like just keeping things more natural as much as I can. I'll do then for lunch another protein forward meal. So it'll be like perhaps ground chicken with eggs. I like including eggs daily because of the nutrition aspect that they provide. And that will be protein packed. There's be like a half a pound of chicken with like 3 eggs.
That's what I eat too. I love that. It's like the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, it is so good.
So
And
good.
I'll always try to do my best to include some sort of a vegetable that provides like again, antioxidants, like leafy greens, a ton of those at lunch and at dinner, and then fiber in terms of like, or in the form of, I prefer to do berries. And it's not like I'm against fruits. Like I was in Bali, I was just having a big fruit bowl right before bedtime. And
Right. Well, you're Bali, but I like. What's your idea on fruit? Because do you think people can overeat fruit? Because that's my weakness. Like when I want sugar, I'll have like pounds of grapes, which by the way is terrible. I know, because you can gain weight from eating like 5 pounds of grapes. It's sugar. It's still sugar. But what is your idea? Because there are some people who says don't eat don't eat fruit. But
how like what else are you eating in your diet? Like fruit is carbs. So if that's your preferred way of having carbs, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like I just mentioned to you, like I came back from Bali and my preferred way of eating carbs was eating like literally like a gigantic bowl of different fruits that had like bananas and watermelon and all of their exotic fruits like mangosteen and
everything.
just different mangoes. And I lost weight. I didn't gain weight from having but then we go again to that individualistic response. How does your body respond to fruit? How does your body respond to more protein? And just keeping an eye out for those cues. But I don't think that there's a general rule of thumb that like eating fruit should be banned.
Not bad, but moderate. I would say moderate, not banned.
Moderate.
But.
Yeah, and again, there is studies that say if you're, and this is even more important if you are not balancing your lifestyle with like working out, is to balance your blood sugar so that you're not getting those blood sugar spikes when you're just having fruit that's unaccompanied by like a protein or a fat. But a good idea could be to do that so that you can keep the blood sugar levels more controlled versus it spiking up and then just dropping.
And so for dinner, what did you say you eat?
Dinner. So again, I start with the largest bowl of greens that you could ever see, just because I love greens.
Me too.
And I'm just so happy. They bring me joy, and I'm happy to have all of the antioxidants. And then again, I'll do, like last night, I did chicken, and I did these, mix of like broccoli and kale that were like sauteed with a little bit of quinoa in there. And yeah, that was my dinner.
All right, do you snack?
I don't snack throughout the day.
Okay.
I'll do perhaps like a post-workout, again, protein shake or yogurt. I love yogurt.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you love yogurt.
I'm Albanian originally.
I know. You love yogurt.
Like,
yes.
That was the thing, the go-to thing in Albania, like yogurt. My mom made homemade yogurt, so that was always on hand.
It's also an easy protein just to grab.
Protein. Yeah, you just throw some nuts in there and blueberries or
and you're good to
raspberries, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And then I do have a sweet tooth. That's where the recipes come in.
Oh my God!
That I post.
So are you like because you said to me before we started, like, oh yeah, that's like a newer thing that I'm adding all this food stuff. I'm like, newer. I thought you were doing it for years, but. Yeah. Was that like, have you always done that stuff? Like you, like these like quick alternatives, or did you have to like learn that to kind of, did you want to expand your page with more food? Is that like how you learned it?
Like I said, I've always had a sweet tooth, and for me, it's never been like eliminating things. Now I'm just going to like not eat sweets. It's like, how can I perhaps utilize different ingredients to satisfy that sweet tooth? And again, I'll still have like, a regular carrot cake,
I love carrot cake. It's my favorite.
So it's not like about completely eliminating things. It's like, okay, have this carrot cake every so often, but like, what about the other days? Like, you don't want to have a big slice of carrot cake every night.
No.
Perhaps, I don't know if it works for you, fine.
Doesn't work for please. But how does
it doesn't work for me? So I need to find replacements.
Do you have an alternative for carrot cake? I never saw that.
I did make one.
You did?
Some time ago. Yeah, it was really good.
How did you make it?
It was really good. So you make.
I love that.
You start with carrots.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good.
I can't remember the whole recipe, but like I love the icing, and how I made the icing was like mixing vanilla protein powder with I think like a coconut milk or something like that, and creating this like thick consistency, and it came out really, really good. But it tasted like legit carrot cake.
Can you send me that recipe? Because I didn't see that on your page. Yeah. That's like my favorite thing ever.
Sometimes, it's the algorithm. Like, it depends on how many people like carrot cake, and then it gets pushed out or not.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
What do you find people are like what's really popular now in terms of like in the fitness space? Like, what are people, you said like with the algorithm, that's how you can track like what's popular. I know just from like I know that like menopause is super popular. And so now everyone's putting menopause specialists on their podcasts and doctors who are doing that. Like that's how people track these things for podcasts.
Right.
But in the hardcore fitness nutrition space, what have you seen has been very trendy?
3 a.m. wake ups.
Oh God, I know. I thought that was already over with. I'm
Gosh. Honestly, sometimes the algorithm is a guessing game, even to myself. Really? It's like banging your head against the wall.
Right.
It's like, how much harder can
it's really hard to like, it's like whack-a-mole.
Like,
you don't know how to
provide. You provide this thing the other day, and it gets frustrating because I feel like I'm truly providing value. Like I'm out there.
Yeah, you are
filming, just really putting in the work with coming up with workouts and filming workouts and putting out content that I think is really valuable and useful. And then you'll have other things that sometimes I find ridiculous take traction. It's like, okay, how I cannot compete with that because I never do anything like that myself,
That's what I like about you though, because you're not gimmicky. There's no gimmicks with you. It's like you actually give like very, like you said, very quality content.
I try to. I mean, I think recipes always do great for me. So like people are interested.
But they're good
recipes. I just need to do more of them.
Yeah. Well, they're hard to like, do you think of them?
In between like moving and everything. And
that's true.
I'm always filming in like a little corner of the kitchen because I've been at an Airbnb for so long, and people are like, why are you filming in a corner of the kitchen? It's like, if I had a better area, I would film in a better area.
Really?
I just have like because I chose location versus, spaciousness.
Space, exactly. Do you think of all the recipes yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or I get inspiration. Like I'll see a recipe here and there, and I'll just try to figure out how to make that healthier. I've done cheesecake before. I love cheesecake.
I like that too.
I've posted my legit like regular no sub cheesecake.
Really?
I make that at least once or twice a year. It's delicious.
That sounds good too. I'll look at that one. What's your thoughts on fasting and women, or fasting for women, I should say?
Again, I'll go back to like studies, like it's not supportive of women and their hormones. Like fasting is not something that we should do. So don't do it.
Yeah. No, I believe it. It's like I agree.
Later, as we get in like late 30s, early 40s and beyond, like it gets even more important to not fast and to not wreak havoc on our hormones. Maybe when we're younger, it's a little bit more forgiving, but even then you're still affecting your hormones by fasting. And there is times in your cycle where you can be a little bit more lenient with that, but fasting, especially training fasted is worse. Like if you're not heavily training, maybe you have a little bit more leeway, but if you're training fasted, that's a big no-no in my book. I don't do that.
I don't even understand how people can like be a hardcore exerciser and then fast. It doesn't compute in my brain. Like to your point, if you're somebody who's not really exercising, okay, maybe you can figure out a balance or like make it work. you know. But if you're a woman who works out every day hard, not just like the 5 minutes, but like an hour, let's say, I don't even see how it's possible to fast because you're just like me, I'm speaking, but in general, like, aren't you going to be starving and your body like needs those calories like consistently, and the hormone thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you know, like cold plunges. You know, I was like, all the research I've seen is that cold plunges for women is really not a great idea.
Yeah.
Because it's bad for your
There's
hormones.
more and more studies out there again, and doctors speaking to that when it comes to women specifically. Again, men's makeup is a little bit different than ours. Not a lot different.
Like, women are not just smaller men. Like,
they're
like,
not. They have all this complexity of
Totally.
hormones and neurological responses that are completely different from a man. So while you can still cold plunge, the temperatures have to be higher and for shorter periods of time.
Do you cold plunge?
I used to. I don't anymore. I used to, and I would never do it, especially if I'm strength training to gain muscle.
Right.
And it would be so hard to implement that, like, in logistically, like, okay, I got to do it at least 8 hours.
Right.
You know, give like time 8 hours or more after you've strength trained. It's just kind of like logistically it doesn't make sense. So I choose to sauna if I have access to it.
Me too.
Sauna is definitely a much more beneficial thing than cold plunging for women. But again, a lot of people do get that, like, they feel good cold plunging or taking a cold shower. It's just, don't, if you could, possibly not do it for as long or for as low of a temperature.
I think the issue probably is that people see these things on social media.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, I guess this has to be good for me. And even though they don't want to do it and they hate it, they force themselves to go cold plunging. Well, because they saw Joe Blow doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like everything in life, there's always a pendulum that swings.
Till there's more research.
Until there's
and
more.
It's like, don't do it. Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is what's going to happen with all these GLP-1s and stuff. Like, it's great. You're losing all this weight. Yeah, but you're also losing all your muscle and your face is gaunt. Yeah. And we don't know the long-term effects in terms.
Exactly.
No one does.
I've never been, myself personally speaking, one to jump on any bandwagon because I always think of, like, what are the long-term effects of all of these things? And plus, what can you rely on that cannot be taken away from you? Like, working out and nutrition can never be taken away from me. Like, I can work out on top of a mountain.
Yes.
I can try to, make healthier decisions when it comes to nutrition, even when you're given the things that are not like the best for you, you can still kind of figure out.
Yeah.
But what cannot be taken away from you? That's what I always try to think.
Right. Like, and also, like, how about supplements? Like, what's your take on supplements for the same reason? Do you rely on any specific ones that you think are like really important, or you just think, if you eat well?
I think if you are able to eat well, and again, rely on that to get your protein and to get all of the supplements that you need, your vitamins, because you're eating vegetables and fruits, and but if you need to supplement, creatine and protein powders are so well researched and have been around for so long. So those are things that I'm not opposed to taking. And I do, supplement with protein powders, as I mentioned, protein shakes every so often. And then creatine, I'll stick to, I don't do 5 grams. I do about 3 grams a day. And I'm not necessarily super consistent with it because, I love all of the research behind it, but I also, I've checked my levels of creatine before I even took creatine, and they were perfectly fine because I do consume red meat and all of the other foods that are a good source of creatine. So it's like, do you need to, what's your baseline? And then you supplement from there. That's my belief.
And by the way, again, like, this is like, you're very like, this is what I like. This is why I like you, because you're so practical, and it's not, there's no like I said, there's no gimmicks with you. It's no hype. Like you say it how it is. And that's true. Like we can get our creatine, we can get everything from food. And then what we should all be doing before we start supplementing at all is know what your levels are.
Exactly.
Because I do take 2.5 grams. I take a half of the 5 grams. I take Momentous. We talked about it earlier because it's really clean. And I like the company. I think they do a great job with like they have this NSF certification, so it's very high standards. But I've only been taking 2.5, but I'm taking it not for my body. I'm taking it because of the research says it's great for brain health.
Yeah. And that's why I even supplement, because again, while my levels are fine, there is that research there for brain health and
Cognition.
Exactly.
And
knowing, again, like I said before, the 2 out of 3 patients with Alzheimer's are women. That is a scary statistic. So whatever we can do, and again, creatine has shown to be helpful with cognition. Strength training is like undeniably proven to be helpful with cognition and preventing Alzheimer's. So why not do that?
100. But my mother, unfortunately, just got diagnosed recently with Alzheimer's. So
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so I'm like hyper vigilant and sensitive to this. So I'm all the thing, like the strength training and like you said, the creatine. The strength training is massive though. You know, when my mom was visiting me, I'm Canadian. She came here to visit recently. And I had a trainer who trained her every day with weights, like heavier weights, not 2 pound, nothing, but like I said to the trainer, I want you to train my mom like a person that you would train who needs to get physically strong and fit, and don't be easy on her. Like don't give her 3 pounds. Try her with 5, 8, whatever. And if she can do it, give her a heavier weight. Anyway, I did that for a week, and I'm not kidding. I actually saw my mother's like cognition and her ability to her like she was better with her like verbal communication. Like she was not losing her words as often. Her memory was like slightly better. I'm not saying like in a week that it changes, but I'm saying like that just shows you like if you're actually challenging yourself with these things, it does like incrementally there's a difference.
Absolutely. And if the longer that you do it, I know we don't think of it when we're younger. It's like more like aesthetics and work. But if you start from as early as you can, keeping in mind like what these things will do for you long term and down the road, like your future self will thank you.
Totally.
Yeah.
What do you think about just in terms of like some like exercises? Like, do you think if people don't have a lot of time, let's just go with this for a few seconds. Is there like, do you think that squats is the best lower body exercise? Or do you think there's a better, like if you can give me like the top 5 exercises that people should do no matter what? And what would you say?
I love Bulgarian split squats. So why do I love that? Is because it includes, and I'll give you maybe, how about you want 5 or you want 2?
Give me 30 if you want. Yeah.
How much time we have?
As much as you want to give me.
Squats are great. Deadlifts are great. So those will be on the top of my list. They're great. Include those. But can you include something that challenges your body with balance as well? And that's why I love Bulgarian split squats. And I just discovered and did this. I don't know if anybody else has done that before, but going from a Bulgarian split RDL into a squat, it's an incredible exercise. Give it a try.
Really?
Yeah. So back leg lifted, you're going into that RDL, almost like supported RDL, and then going into a squat after that. But besides that, so like squats,
can you just show me what you're
great.
talking about so I know what you're talking about? I want to make sure that I got it. Hold on. I'm going to take a video of it so I know. Okay, hold on a minute. I mean, this is like, hold on a minute. Video.
I have to go somewhere else.
Just go right over here. I just want to see it. Oh, yeah, right.
Foot lifted. So you're going into like an RDL. And then with this little...
Oh, and then you're going into a squat.
Into a squat. And they come up. So like RDL.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. With your heels. That was awesome. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna actually post. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh! And you got my left side.
No,
my
and
favorite
like
side.
by the way, like it's like you're so fit. It's like unbelievable. But
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
You really are. So that's you think
That
of
would that's because it combines all of these aspects of like strength. You can definitely progressively overload in terms of like lifting heavier, but also like challenging that balance, which is so important
Yeah.
for us to work on, especially as we get older and maintain. For an upper body exercise, I would pull-ups because it's working that grip strength. It's working most of your upper body, even your core, your arms. So it's like all of these exercises that you get the most bang for your buck. So those, if I was Bulgarian split squats, and then for upper body, it is pull-ups.
Pull-ups for sure. Not chin-ups, right? Like actual wide.
Chin-ups fine too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, because you're working on that upper body strength, you're working on that grip. Similar muscle groups that you're working on your lats primarily. So in each group, those kind of would be like my two. And then farmer's carries are a great exercise, again, because of that grip strength. That is so important. It's an indicator of longevity as well. Yeah.
How about a core exercise?
A core exercise. I love leg raises, like hanging leg raises, but there's so many other things that you can do. You can, the other day I recorded a single leg. So you're holding one leg up, one foot is planted, doing kettlebell curls to forward press, because it's utilizing your core for stability. Besides also,
can you show? Okay, wait. You show me. Hold on a second. Wait, I gotta put it back on my video. Okay, this is for what?
Right, so,
okay, go over. I can't see your face though. Okay, wait.
So we're gonna balance on one leg. Again, doing this with heels.
Okay, you look great.
And then knees up, kettlebell, or you can use a dumbbell curls to forward press. So this is utilizing your core, utilizing your biceps, shoulders, chest, pretty much everything.
I love that. That's a great one too.
Lower body as well. So I love specific like core exercises, like say hanging leg raises or knee tucks. Again, that's kind of working your grip as well and working your core to a high degree, almost isolating it. But I also love incorporating some of those other movements that are more stabilizing of your core.
Well, you're doing a lot of one-legged stuff, like when you're like that, like the Bulgarian, because we're so imbalanced. I think we're very imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
And so it's good to do that just in terms of balancing our body. But that stability piece is like really, really
important. That's why I'll always include on, lower body days, you'll see people have 4 exercises, and it'll be like a squat and an RDL and a hip thrust and an abduction. It's like, where is your stability component? Sure, if you're just looking to maximize just glutes, but I love to think of all of the other aspects that you can include without taking too much time. So efficiency, but also being effective, not just in an isolated way, but in a long-term way as well.
What do you think of hip thrusts?
I like hip thrusts. I include them on most of my lower body days. Do you not?
I don't. I also find it's not working well. Like I feel like it's like you have to be in a perfect position.
Yeah, or the setup is definitely. So you have to figure out what setup works for you and your physique. There is certain hip thrust machines that just don't work for certain people. And there is a setup with the barbell that doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but also you have to having to adjust your feet to where it works for you. You just have to try what works out best for you. And I don't think there's one exercise that you absolutely have to include. You can find variations of that. You can perhaps, instead of a hip thrust, because it doesn't work well for you, you can do glute focused back extension. It's just with that, you can't load as much weight as with a hip thrust.
Right, because of it's hard on your back.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard, period. Also carrying it.
What about plateaus? I think that like we talk a lot about when someone's a beginner. What happens when someone's actually intermediate or more advanced and they're working out a long time for many, many years and they're very consistent, but now they've hit a plateau?
Yeah.
How can we how can we kind of, what do we do? What do we do when we get to that
Like,
place?
have you changed a routine? That's what I would look into. Like, have you been doing the same thing over and over again? Perhaps it's like time to just change things up, and you know, you can still perhaps utilize, let's say, an RDL, but can you perform it slightly differently? You know, can you perhaps do a Bulgarian split
Yeah.
RDL?
Yeah.
Just changing things up. I know sometimes we get into like habits. I can get into that myself. And it's
Autopilot.
just like, yeah, changing things up. I think it can do wonders. For me, like I change things up pretty frequently. I still keep the basic, the movements are the same movements, but I'm just like slightly altering them so that I can satisfy, you know, just again, my novelty desire, but also not plateau.
So you don't really plateau.
I don't think so.
You're so lucky. Well, no, because I think when you do it for such a long time, we all go into like I mean, I know I do, but we go into autopilot. We'll do the same
Yeah.
things we do all the time because it's
Yeah.
like
Changing things up.
Right.
I mean,
It's
and I
really-
think, you know, again, if you listen to yourself and if you apply a little bit more of that intuition, like I'll have times when I'm like, again, when I just came back from Bali, I incorporated a lot of power yoga when I was there. So I was still strength training, but I was also doing an hour and a half of power yoga on a lot of days, on most days. So it's just incorporating new things, challenging your body in a different way could be very helpful.
I was actually I forgot to ask you about those things.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about Pilates and yoga. Pilates is a big one because it's super
Yeah.
popular and like for
Very
women,
popular.
for girls, like they love going to Pilates. What's your take on Pilates?
We're actually just bringing Pilates onto the We Rise app. We're
Oh, wow.
starting a new challenge, and maybe by the time that this is live, the challenge would have started, but it'll still be available in the app. But
Okay.
it's great. Yoga, Pilates, like I love incorporating them, but never in the place of strength training. Like you cannot replace strength training by doing Pilates or yoga, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say that, but there's nothing that replaces strength training. It's great additives. There's a place and time for that. And it does definitely help in other aspects. You know, I love yoga because it brings me into a certain type of flow. And while I can get in the flow with strength training, there is a different kind of a flow that yoga or Pilates will bring me in or create a different connection with the body. So I think all of these components have a place and time, but never in replacement of strength training.
Yeah, I tend to agree. But I think everything becomes, like you were saying, trendy.
Yeah.
And then
it's all or nothing.
It's all, right, exactly. And I think what happens is we see some girls who go to Pilates or not. People see people who go to, and they look super lean and they look like dancers and they're but like usually that's their body type. Like I don't like, I think that you can get a stronger core from doing Pilates. And I think it could be a great workout. But like you said, I don't think that it supersedes strength training benefits.
And a lot of the time, it's like what you're not seeing behind those lean bodies that's painting a better picture, and what you're not seeing is perhaps the lack of muscle. If you're not strength training, there is. I mean, I ran into a Pilates teacher at the gym, and she was asking me about different things that I do and what I'd suggest, because she's like, I've been teaching and doing Pilates for so long that I lost my butt.
Yeah.
And what did you lose there? You lost muscle mass.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
unfortunately, that's the reality of things. And again, like I said, we're bringing on Pilates and yoga in the future, but never in replacement of strength training. And I'm going to give a caveat to that. If that, at the end of the day, though, is the only thing that is going to help you move, then by all means, then do that. But it's like, don't be surprised at the results, or be okay with the certain type of results from just doing yoga or just doing Pilates, and that's okay. It's your choice, and if your choice of movement is that, and that's absolutely the only thing that you want to do, then that is fine. There's no absolutes in my book. It's again,
Right.
it's the the benefits to everything, to strength training, to simple movement. It's like your choice at the end of the day what you want to do with those options. Yeah.
Do you train anybody else, or is it just Kim Kardashian now? Or because you have your clothing line, you have your app.
I train millions.
I mean, yeah. So I was going to say,
train millions.
I was going to train millions. Do you train anyone one-on-one?
I don't train anybody else one-on-one. It's just there's no time in the day. It's just so tasking, like to do all of the, filming and providing posts, and then running the We Rise app, being the head of the company for the We Rise app, and Zentoa. We unfortunately shut Zentoa, the clothing line, down.
You did? When?
We did, just a couple of weeks ago, or something like that. It's unfortunately, being a small fish and the clothing line industry is really difficult to get the pricing that will help you stay competitive. And I'm always looking for quality, and that quality comes with the price.
Yeah.
And, once we actually lowered the prices and people actually mass tried the clothing, now they're like, can I get more? I'm like, sorry.
Really?
Yeah, just the quality was unbelievable. We're producing in Portugal, but unfortunately, I just couldn't compete. And when the return on investment is not there, then those resources can be taken and applied to like the We Rise app, which is, clothing is great, but like my mission in life has been to help as many women as I can to step in the strongest and healthiest versions of themselves in all aspects of life. And that's what We Rise is there to do. I think the resources are better applied there.
That's amazing. Is there anything else I forgot to ask you? I don't think so. I don't know. Besides, can you work out with me? But that's besides that. Besides that, listen. I mean,
when I'm back in town, we need to.
Will you promise?
Yeah,
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Because I mean, even that little RDL Bulgarian, I love that.
Yeah.
So for people living under a rock, if you haven't heard. I don't want to say your name.
Senada.
I don't know why I think it's like.
I know there's so many people that come in like I
don't want to say it wrong.
Approach me and then and see me like just walking around or whatever, and they're like, I've been following you for so long, but please can you tell me your name?
Exactly, Senada Greca. I mean, that's the thing. I keep on like I'm like, okay, I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah.
Follow if her. She's got great stuff on Instagram. Are you also on TikTok? You said
TikTok, YouTube. They have a following there as well. Just the largest is on Instagram, but
Instagram.
YouTube, TikTok, yeah.
And the app is called We Rise.
We Rise,
I like that name.
WeRise.xyz is the website, and Senada.Greca is me everywhere on Instagram.
I love it. You guys have to see her workouts and her abs. It's like sickening. But anyway, I'm not jealous at all. Anyway.
You look amazing.
Oh,
what are you
God,
talking about?
Thank you. But listen.
I can see the veins, the arms, the shoulders.
Thank you. But listen, I look, this is amateur hour compared to you.
Oh,
no, seriously. It's amazing. Okay, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. It's been such a pleasure.
It's a pleasure is mine, and I'm going to hold you to what we just said.
Yeah, and this worked.
Did you like it?
I like it.
Okay, Magic Mind, did you hear that? Okay,
You want to work with Senada?
Yeah. Do you want to? I'm going to hook you up to them right now. There you go. So there you go, Magic Mind. We have another one. We've converted another
No,
newbie.
it's good. I don't know what it is, but I feel awesome.
It's great. And you didn't even have the caffeinated one.
No, I'd probably be just like running in circles right now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Spider Woman.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to hook you up with them. All right.
Cool.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.